What could possibly compel 4 million Israelis to flee their homeland in a matter of minutes? The answer lies in the grave new developments unfolding between Israel and its arch-rival Iran. As tensions escalate to unprecedented levels, the fragile stability of the Middle East hangs by a thread, with the specter of all-out war casting a dark shadow over the region. For decades, the animosity between these two bitter adversaries has simmered, punctuated by sporadic flare-ups of open hostility. But now, the situation has taken a dramatic turn, with Iran launching a massive barrage of over 300 missiles and drones against Israel in retaliation for an Israeli strike on an Iranian consulate in Damascus. This attack caught many by surprise, putting an enormous strain on Israel's vaunted Iron Dome defense system, even with support from the United States and other allies. In the aftermath, panicked reports emerged of a high-level meeting between Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu and military intelligence chiefs, where a chilling possibility was discussed. If details of this meeting were to somehow become public, it could trigger a mass exodus of up to 4 million Israelis within minutes. The implications of such an exodus are staggering to contemplate. Israel's population of 9 million includes over 75 million citizens, and the prospect of 40% of that population fleeing the country would be nothing short of catastrophic. Businesses, schools, hospitals, the very fabric of Israeli society would be torn apart with untold economic and social consequences. But what could possibly be so dire that it would spur such a mass departure? The answer lies in the complex web of geopolitics and regional rivalries that have come to a boiling point. Israel and Iran have long been locked in a shadow war, with each side trying to undermine the other through covert operations, proxy conflicts, and periodic bursts of open aggression. The recent exchange of strikes represents a dangerous new escalation, one that threatens to spiral out of control and draw in other major powers like the United States, China, and Russia. The stakes have never been higher, as the fate of the entire Middle East hangs in the balance. As the international community watches with bated breath, the crucial questions emerge. What sparked this latest round of hostilities? What are the potential consequences if the conflict continues to escalate? And most importantly, can Israel and Iran step back from the brink before it's too late? The Middle East has long been a tinderbox of competing interests and age-old rivalries, and in recent weeks, the simmering tensions between Israel and Iran have threatened to erupt into all-out war with catastrophic consequences for the entire region. For decades, these two bitter adversaries have engaged in a complex geopolitical dance, jockeying for power and influence across the Middle East. Their animosity can be traced back to the 1979 Iranian Revolution, when the newly formed Islamic Republic of Iran made the destruction of the Zionist regime in Israel a central tenet of its foreign policy. Over the years, this rivalry has manifested in covert operations, proxy conflicts, and periodic flare-ups of open hostility. Israel has repeatedly struck at Iranian interests in Syria, while Iran has supported militant groups like Hezbollah that have attacked Israeli targets. But the current crisis represents a dangerous new escalation that brings the specter of full-scale war uncomfortably close. It all began several weeks ago when Israel launched a strike on an Iranian consulate in Damascus, Syria. The attack killed several high-ranking Iranian military officers, prompting vows of retaliation from Tehran. True to their word, the Iranians unleashed a barrage of over 300 missiles and drones against Israel, the largest assault of its kind ever launched from Iran. Israel's Iron Dome defense system was able to intercept and destroy the majority of the incoming projectiles, but the sheer volume of the Iranian attack put an enormous strain on Israel's defenses. even with support from the United States and other allies. For a terrifying moment, it seemed like the region was on the brink of all-out war. Thankfully, Israel was ultimately able to fend off the Iranian onslaught, but the damage was done. This conflict had taken a dangerous new turn, with both sides willing to escalate to unprecedented levels of aggression. The potential consequences are alarming, not just for the civilian populations caught in the crossfire, but for the broader stability and security of the entire Middle East. There's a real risk that this localized conflict between Israel and Iran could draw in other major powers like China, further complicating the geopolitical landscape. The US, as Israel's closest ally, has strongly condemned Iran's missile barrage and reaffirmed its commitment to Israel's defense. But Washington is also wary of being dragged into a wider regional war that could have global ramifications. Ultimately, the fate of this conflict lies in the hands of the Israeli and Iranian leadership. Both sides must carefully weigh the catastrophic risks of further escalation and find the wisdom and restraint to step back from the brink. A return to the status quo of covert skirmishes and proxy battles may be the best case scenario at this point, but make no mistake, the ramifications of this Israel-Iran conflict could be felt for years to come, reshaping the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East in profound and unpredictable ways. It's a story we'll all need to follow closely in the weeks and months ahead as the region teeters on the edge of an abyss. What sparked this latest round of hostilities? What are the potential consequences if the conflict continues to escalate? And most importantly, can Israel and Iran step back from the brink before it's too late? These are the crucial questions that will shape the future of the Middle East, with the specter of a catastrophic war looming over the entire region. The answers to these questions will determine the fate of millions of lives, as well as the delicate balance of power that has defined the Middle East for decades. It's a high-stakes game of geopolitical chess, with the players willing to go to unprecedented lengths to protect their interests and vanquish their foes. The world watches with bated breath, hoping against hope that cooler heads will prevail before it's too late. So there you have it, a deep dive into the dangerous new chapter of the long-running rivalry between Israel and Iran. As this conflict continues to unfold, be sure to subscribe to our channel for the latest updates and analysis. And let us know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think the future holds for this volatile situation in the Middle East? We'll be here to explore it all, so hit that like button and stay tuned.